What's up guys, today's video is on the Cleveland Cbx Zipcore Golf Wedges Review 2023. Cleveland Golf have a long-standing reputation for their excellent wedges, so I was eager to see how their Cbx Zipcore range would perform for me down at my local course. After all, the Cbx Zipcore is aimed at golfers of my distinctly average skill level, promising a nice blend of forgiveness and spin for mid-handicappers. Did it deliver? My one-sentence review is that these wedges exceeded my expectations and performed as well as anything else I have tested. But you want more than one sentence, so read on and I'll tell you exactly why I was so impressed with them. But before you do, you might want to check out T3's guides to the best golf watches, best golf bags, best golf shoes, and the best golf balls. We've got you covered whatever your golfing needs. But back to the matter at hand. Choosing a set of wedges is one of the most complex things a golfer has to do when shopping for clubs, as there is a daunting variety of options available. Not only do you have to decide on a brand and then a style of wedge, but then you have to look at lofts and grinds too, which is when it gets really bewildering. The Cleveland Cbx Zipcore falls into the latter category. These wedges are aimed at golfers who don't always strike their wedges crisply. If you occasionally fat your wedges or thin them so they fly like a 3-iron, then you should not be playing bladed clubs, such as the excellent Callaway Jaws Raw Wedge, which I reviewed recently. You need something a bit more forgiving and easier to hit. Something like the Cleveland Cbx Zipcore. Cleveland Cbx Zipcore wedges. The technology. These wedges are jam-packed with technology which makes them perform differently to other cavity-backed clubs I've used. There is a hollow chamber near the heel of the club which Cleveland say boosts that moment of inertia, which improves forgiveness well past what other cavity-back wedges can offer. Additionally, you have gel back. This is a custom TPU insert behind the club face which softens vibration, which means less punishment on those shots that don't quite find the sweet spot. Additionally, these are the deepest grooves Cleveland have ever made, plus they've even added a couple extra. By moving the grooves closer together and deepening them, the spin factor is exponentially multiplied. Cleveland say UltraZip grooves are 11% sharper, 7.3% deeper, 7.4% closer, and provide 7.2% more groove contact on shot. There are 3 grinds available. V-shaped is designed to glide over the turf without digging, even when you strike behind the ball. So if you're prone to hitting fat shots, this will help eliminate those. S-shaped is for bunkers or when you need to open the face for finesse shots around the green. Its wide profile offers plenty of bounce. C-shaped is designed in a way that you can open the face to any angle and attack any green side situation. So a general rule would be V-shaped for approach shots with PW and GW. And then you might want to go with S-shaped grind on a sand wedge, with C-shaped on a lob wedge. This also depends on the type of course you usually play on and also your skill level. Performance. I took 2 Cleveland Cbx Zipcore wedges onto my local course and spent a couple of hours just hitting full shots into various greens, before finishing up with some chipping and bunker shot. I had a 44 degree and a 56 degree, which would be the nearest equivalent to the pitching wedge and lob wedge in my own set of clubs. The first thing I noticed was just how light the Cbx Zipcore wedges felt on full swing. Before even hitting a shot, I had noticed that just from a few practice swings. Completely different to anything I'd used before. When I began hitting shots, I was surprised at just how much feel I had with them. My own wedges are fairly heavy, very forgiving, cavity backs. The Cbx Zipcore are cavity backs too, but that's where any similarity ends. The feel is incredibly soft, which has to be a result of the catalyst spinner shaft. The forgiveness was impressive, and on good shots there was plenty of spin and control. Another plus point for me was I didn't hit any really bad chunk shots. That's an Achilles heel for me, especially with higher lofted wedges when my swing can get a little steep and I hit behind the ball and catch it fat. It's not easy hitting fat shots with these wedges, which is partly what makes them ideal for mid-handicap golfers. Around the same time I tested these wedges, I was also running the rule over the Callaway Jaws Raw and the Wilson Staff Model wedge. All 3 were really impressive, and while I would say that the Callaway is the best wedge I've tried this year, I would also have to concede that it is aimed at better players than myself. Much as I don't like admitting it, it probably is not the best fit for me personally. I really like the Wilson Staff Model too, but again, it's aimed at better players than me. The Cleveland Cbx Zipcore wedges gave me the most consistent results because they are aimed more at golfers of my level. That said, I definitely preferred the Jaws Raw wedges for chipping around the green, but then I've always liked a blade for those kind of shots. While I wouldn't say the Cbx Zipcore is clunky, it doesn't fill me with the same kind of confidence I have when chipping from a tight lie with a bladed wedge. When there's a bit of grass under the ball, it's fine. But from tight lies, I'm not as confident over the ball as I am with a more bladed wedge. It is something I did become more comfortable with the more I used the Cbx Zipcore though. On full shots I loved these wedges right from the get-go. The 44-degree wedge gave me the best results as I was able to hit that right on my number more often than not. With the 56-degree I was not as consistent, but that's normal for me as I never really know how far a full shot is going. It will be anywhere between 65 and 75 yards. They were easy to flight and the spin was impressive. I did struggle with it a little out of bunkers and it took me some time to figure it out. My sand wedge is fairly heavy, so to go to the much lighter feeling Cbx Zipcore 56-degree threw me off quite a bit, and I kept leaving everything short. Sometimes I didn't even get it out of the sand. After a while I realized I needed to swing a little harder, and the results improved. Personally though, I do prefer a heavier head on sand shots. After I used these wedges I went to the Cleveland website and read up on the technology used. I tend to take most of this stuff from manufacturers with a large pinch of salt, as much of it is just marketing spiel to make their club sound like the greatest thing that's ever happened to golf. Every driver is more forgiving and goes further than the previous incarnation because of some new technological breakthrough. Every putter has a bigger sweet spot and better weight balance to help you hole more putt. It always sounds great, but generally those things don't jump out at me when I use the product. When reading about the tech in the Cbx Zipcore though, it did match up with my experience of using them. One thing in particular really struck a chord with me: the gel-back TPU insert that is designed to soften vibrations. That's why the feel is so good with these clubs. They're soft and buttery, and it's rare that you get that nasty vibration feeling up the shaft when you hit one a bit thin. The insert at the back of the club face combined with the graphite shaft completely dampened that. Verdict: these wedges are a fantastic option for mid-handicap golfers such as myself. While a blade design is always appealing visually, they are more suited to the more skilled golfer, and most players below that level would be better served with something like the Cbx Zipcore. The feel on full shots is buttery soft, and you get just the right blend of performance and forgiveness. They aren't the cheapest, but they aren't at the top of the price range either, so if you are looking to upgrade your wedge this year, then the Cleveland Cbx Zipcore is well worth a look, as it is definitely one of the best wedges out there for the average golfer. 2 thumbs up from me. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you have something to say, please leave a comment.